No speaker. I call to order this regular city council meeting of March 17th, 2025. All that are able, please stand and join me for the pledge. Madam Clerk, may we have the roll call, please?
Law.
Present.
Obolinski.
Here.
Chess.
Here.
Sakach.
Here.
Nowak.
Here.
Thank you.
Item 4 is closed session report. There was no closed session, so there's nothing to report. Item 5 is presentations, and our first one is support from the federal level presentation by Congressman Mark DeSaulnier.
Sounds like an oxymoron. No, it's
These
a
days
contradiction,
maybe.
not an oxymoron. I'm sorry. Well, thank you. I'll do this quickly and then just take any questions. This brings back fond memories. I'm just telling my wonderful staff that I used to do town halls here, but it wouldn't be big enough now that people are so animated about the federal government. And I used to go to Transvac meetings once a month
Right
down the
here,
hallway.
they still are here.
Oh. So this just be brief. It has changed since last week with the continuing resolution that passed out of the Senate. Mostly I've been going around to city councils to talk about community benefit projects. So we'll do a couple slides of that. And that's the main purpose, and then just take any questions. I've done these for years in my Forrest Gumpian move from city council to this level. I think it works well, but we'll continue to find out. So this is the current supervisory district. During redistricting a couple of years ago, it switched. It took me this District 10 out of the 80 corridor. I used to represent Richmond, San Pablo, and El Cerrito in the old version, Kensington. And they moved us east, so we've got all of Eastern Contra Costa, all of Central Contra Costa, except for Discovery Bay. That little bend is Congressman Harder from the Valley. And then it took me down 680 all the way into Dublin, and I split that with Congressman Swalwell. Next. So this is marketing. I've done more town halls than any other member of Congress the last 10 years. I enjoy them. A lot of people are doing them, a lot of them now, because of people want to participate. And mostly people are doing telephone town halls. I've done those. I prefer in person and virtual. And also telephone town halls are expensive. For one of them, it costs $10,000. And strangely enough, in person or virtual costs almost nothing, except for the staff time, which is priceless. All right. These are just committee assignments, just like you. We pick committees, or we try to get on committees that we are interested in, have background on, or most importantly, because our constituents, you probably know this, transportation, back to my days as a planning commissioner in Concord and being a TransPac member, transportation is obviously very important to people in the East Bay, particularly in Contra Costa. In the East Bay, we have 4 of the 10 largest mega commutes in the country. People coming from far eastern Alameda and Contra Costa into the financial district in San Francisco, or in the Silicon Valley and then beyond. That's why the Altamont is so busy. But these are the committees. I'm the ranking member on the Health, Employment, Labor, and Pension. That means I'm the rankings Democrat. So when we're in the majority, I would be the chair on the Health, Employment, Labor, and Pension Subcommittee. That has jurisdiction on all of those issues when it comes to employer-employee relations, on health, on Medicare and Medicaid, which obviously get a lot of conversation now. That's in another committee, that's Energy and Commerce, that used to be chaired and ranking member with a friend and a fellow Bay Area member, Anna Eshu, but she just retired. So it actually gave us a lot of influence on healthcare. And a couple months ago, our leader, the Democratic leader, Congressman Jeffries from New York, asked me to go to be the ranking member on the Ethics Committee. And I asked him, I said, I must have done something really horrible in a previous life. Did I do, other than being a Red Sox fan and you being a Yankees fan, are you punishing me? But it's interesting. Next. Actually, it's a great honor. I'm happy. So this is the main reason. These are the things we've been able to get. This started 3 terms ago, so 6 years ago when we were in the majority. Congresswoman DeLauro from Connecticut, who's chair of the Appropriations Committee when we're in the charge. You might recognize her from TV. She has purple hair frequently. She's great. So we reestablished these, and they used to be controversial because some members didn't do them right. And the press got a hold of that, and appropriately they were stopped. So we rebuilt them with a lot of performance standards, a lot of transparency, and they've been very popular. We've been really fortunate, and I think a lot of it's because of the agencies we have and the nonprofits we have. It's been easy to get projects that we could approve and take to the committees of jurisdiction and get them supported, both by when we were in the majority and the minority. Right now, we're a little bit of purgatory because of the continuing resolution. They stopped them for between now and September. So the current funding is doesn't have community projects for anybody. So the ones that were funded, everybody got a check for, but we anticipate that they're going to be in next year. So traditionally, when in a functioning Congress, there's a fiscal year, and it starts beginning and ends, it ends in October, September, end of October, beginning of September, and it starts in February, March. So the purpose so the budget's passed, you've read the budget's already been passed. That's a framework. It's the opposite of what we do in California. The budget is basically the appropriations. It's set by Constitution. In the Congress, the budget is a framework, and then the appropriations is where they actually fund the money. So appropriations has much more power than budget. In California, it's sort of the opposite. So anyways, we wanted to come and talk, and I'm going around to city councils and the Board of Supervisors just to say, this is our process. We're anticipating it being there. My conversations with the chair, who's a friend from Oklahoma, Tom Cole, and Ms. DeLauro, they both want to continue to do it in the next iteration. So we just want to make sure that we continue to do as well as we've done. And your partnership's really important, and anticipating when you look at your budgets and projects and you look at federal grants where we might be able to fit something in. We've been successful for your constituents, but want to be able to do it with the city as well. So there's a lot in there. Generally, you're more successful if you go to the jurisdiction, the committees of jurisdiction. So things related to those committees, transportation, infrastructure. And because I spend a lot of time on health, behavioral health in particular. Next. These bullets are things that went to jurisdictions or nonprofits that are in You'll get a kick out of that third one because who can say no to her? Yeah, you all knew it right away, Debbie Todd. But they serve everybody in Central County and to a large degree countywide. So again, but there are a lot of city projects we could do. One thing that Republicans changed was limiting the amount that could go to non-government agencies. So they wanted to go to government agencies, thinking there'd be more legal authority and transparency and performance standards. I don't necessarily share that because, as we know, there can be a lot of nonprofits do it, not with Pleasant Hill, but in some instances better than some government agencies. Next, if Debbie Toth is watching. So this is just why I already filled you in on this. This is the process as it normally goes. The last bullet on here we've already done, but we're happy to work again. That was very well attended by all the jurisdictions. So there's an interest, obviously. $46 million over 6 years is pretty good. We're pretty proud of that. And that's it. So I'll take any questions. But I'm, you know, I don't want to have your staff spend too much time on it, although I have great respect for your management team and your financial office. Sorry.
And our police department probably too.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a really small community,
It
you know,
is.
it's thousands of people. So I think we'll have them again, but given the current situation with the administration in particular and the dynamics I see between the administration and the minority party, but also with the majority party, it's in the 11 years I've been there, it's very unpredictable. How's that for political?
That was very political. So do you think being California is going to hurt us at all in that process?
Well, you know, it benefited us for a long time.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Friended a neighbor to the west of here that was very, when we had the speakership, obviously. And to say that we got a lot more, it's just, we were better prepared for it. The nice things about this is, you know, you all know, I mean, to a certain degree, it is about human relationships but it is more transparent. And it's sort of transparent and less political relations. And, you know, I think we've learned from that. And I think a lot of grantees and a lot of not just community benefit projects have figured that out too. It's better just to have the transparency and be able to tell the public, look what you've got for this. Unfortunately, it's hard to get that story out in the current.
Yeah.
As you know, at every level of government, the current atmosphere.
And you said sort of focus on where we have members, ranking members or members in those committees. That
Yeah,
helps
because
the
you
process.
know this too. I mean, I experienced this when I was in local government. You go on committees where you have an interest in, your colleagues develop trust in you, and you develop more expertise. So, as I say, I've spent a lot of time on transportation. If you know anybody at the local MPO, I have some.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, congratulations, by the
Thank
way.
you.
We're all proud of you. I served 10 years on the Metropolitan Transportation Committee.
We could use you back.
I'm not going back there.
No, I tried. Any questions from my fellow council members? Amanda?
First of all, I want to thank you for your service, and your staff is outstanding. I'm a teacher. Just a personal note, I had 2 students who were stuck in Afghanistan when the Taliban took over, and your office was really instrumental in connecting them with the Department of State and getting them out of the country. So thank you very much for that. My question has to do with WIOA. I know that that's an area that you're working on, and I'm just curious if any funds are at risk of not coming to programs like at DVC or Mount Diablo Adult Education, where I work, because of the current administration.
Yes. So Department of Labor and whatever happens with the Department of Education, they are the committee, are the departments that administer most of the Workforce Investment Act. I was on the Workforce Investment Board when I was on the County Board of Supervisors. When it works well, it really is great. It's a great public-private partnership. Historically, we've done a good job here in this county with that, I think. So we reauthorized the Workforce Investment Act last year in the House, and it was really quite an accomplishment. I mean, I have to say, the chair then is a friend of Virginia Fox from North Carolina. She's now the chair of the Rules Committee. I tell this story all the time. She likes to introduce me to New Republicans as, this is DeSaulnier. He's our favorite socialist from San Francisco. And I always say the same thing. I said, well, by your standards, I'm a Trotskyite, but, we work well together. We got it passed out, but they never took it up in the Senate for a variety of reasons. So we have to try again. And that was very bipartisan. It was really very collegial. You don't read about those instances. And of course, we have some real differences right now. But my inclination is to think we'll do it again, and then we'll see what happens in the Senate. But I hope so. I mean, if the business community pushes, we should be able to get it. And with what the problem is with all these cuts at the federal level, you have less people being able to help the state workforce investment boards, and they have less infrastructure to help the local boards. So all of that's going to slow things down, unfortunately, is my opinion.
Zach?
Yes. First thing I want to say is thank you for speaking on behalf of my wife on the congressional record. You spoke on her behalf, and so I want to thank you for that. The question I have is, I had a very spirited debate with my mother over the weekend. My mother is, you talk about like Trotsky.
I hope I wasn't the cause of that.
No, I sometimes I feel, right center compared to my mom, because my mom is so far, and she's getting rid of Amazon. She's just all these things because she's so fed up with, the whole just elimination of DEI programs and things like that. And our debate was around, I'm like, Mom, don't keep your life, you're 78 years old, keep your life convenient, don't kill yourself. I think there's a better way to go about this, and that is scream at your legislators. Make them listen to you, make them accountable for what's happening, and make them, they have a more powerful voice than you. And so my question to you, Congressman, is that good advice? I mean, what for the 34,000 residents of Pleasant Hill who are all watching this tonight, by the way.
Every single one.
It's amazing. But so for all of them
I
watching,
stream you regularly now that I can get you.
Sue brings them in. I have to give her all the
People
credit.
in Concord, why would I?
But for those people, I mean, what do we do? I mean, how do we, for these programs, things are just crumbling. What do we do? Should they be knocking on your door and other people's doors? Is that the best way to go about it?
I don't know if I want to add your mother to that. But for their sake.
Mark District?
No.
Oh, so,
She's
okay.
in San Diego, so you don't have to. I'm not sure her congressperson is, to be honest with you.
No, I think they should. I mean, I've, for the 35 years I've been in elected office, I've always opined that, it'd be nice to have more Americans realize how important it is to be involved in politics at every level. Now that we've gotten, and I'm not sure that was good advice, but I think one of the things that's frustrating right now, and I think it's how we get information, there's a lot of research to show this, it is very partisan. It's confirmation bias. We've got a lot of research on that people go to the sources that tell them they're right over and over again. And when we used to do more of this, you got used to accepting the fact that you had difference of opinion. And it was just your perspective, and that was okay. And sometimes you could be wrong. So that's changed. But I would agree with you. They should engage. One thing we were just talking about doing more town halls and outreach with historians and people who, without patronizing people, just talk about the importance of civic engagement. But you got to read your voters pamphlet. You got to know that there's 3 branches of government, and there's a reason why the founders of this country wanted to diffuse power. And it's worked well for this country, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work as quickly as people wanted to, and there's a benefit to that. There's also some downsides to that, obviously, but it requires building a consensus that in countries that have more centralized government, people make decisions quickly, and lots of times people regret that because they didn't have a voice in it. So that part is just, it's frustrating. It's a blessing that people are so engaged. I don't like the reason they're engaged right now, but hopefully people will start to be get back to that level of civility and still passion where you can feel very strongly, but you still respect the fact. Like my friend Virginia Fox, I said, Virginia, you could never get elected in my district in San Francisco Bay Area, and I could never get elected to yours in rural North Carolina. That's the way the country is. But I'm still going to fight you like crazy. But I respect the fact that. So tell your mom we're happy to hear from her. I will say one thing, the two comments you made. I'm very proud of the fact that twice we have been recognized by the Congressional Management Congressional Management Institute in in DC. It's a nonprofit, very respected, nonpartisan. And every 2 years they select offices in the Senate and the Congress for different excellence. And we're the only office in the history of the awards, which is about 40 years, who have been recognized twice. So we've been recognized for constituent relations, which I'm really proud of, and innovation. So there's only been 6 offices, both the Senate and the House, in the 40 years they've given those awards, and it's mostly because they work really well. It's not me. And I have fabulous constituents. We have fabulous constituents.
Thank you.
Andre?
Congressman Dasani, thank you for coming. Every time I speak to you, every time I see him, it's just, I'm very happy to see you fighting and doing the good work for your constituency here in Contra Costa County. My statement to you is you're an inspiration. As a person who owns a small business and you coming from that same background, I see you as someone to look up to. And I just want to thank you for all you've done for our immigrant community, because we are a country of immigrants. Every day I go to work, I see my staff who are immigrants, and my wife goes to work and we see all of our friends who are immigrants. And outside of, there's many, many people who are nervous right now. And I just really hope that you will continue to fight for those who have no voice. And that's all I'm going to ask you to do, because I know you will, because have always been doing it. And thank you again for all the help in our community and all the help in Pleasant Hill and the greater Contra Costa in that. So appreciate you, sir.
Will you make a note? I've got to come to Pleasant Hill more often. And one response I'll have to this, because St. Patrick's Day, I'm mostly Irish. The French and the Irish in New England sometimes went out together, rarely, but my Irish mom from Boston would be very proud of what you just said. And the small business part is, I think it was really unfortunate that both parties don't support small businesses enough. And that's part of immigration, is that people came here and worked hard and then decided to own their own business. It keeps repeating itself. One of the challenges here, Peter Schrag used to be the editor of the Sacramento Bee, really brilliant guy, but he was an education expert. But he wrote 3 books, and he lived in Oakland. The last 2 were in immigration in California, and they're really interesting because he looks at it from comparing the Pacific Rim immigration that we're going through now, including from South America and from the rest of the Pacific Rim, as opposed to the immigration pattern that my mom's parents went through, that came from the potato famine. And my dad, the French part, went to Quebec and then came down to work in the mills. And it's amazing how similar it is when you read his work. It's just America from both coasts. Mm-hmm. We've been a very Atlantic-dominated immigration story until the last 50 years. And until I read Peter's work, I'm like, God. And the basic theme of his work is that's what makes California work in particular for today, because it's more reflective of a global economy, both Atlantic and Pacific. So it's interesting. But it's on the immigration thing, we know that this has come up in our history politically over and over again, that people choose to use immigration as a threat. And there was a bill, the session before I got in Congress, that came out of the House, and it was bipartisan. John McCain, Rubio, I forgot about Rubio, Schumer, Durbin, it was a gang of 8, and I can't remember who the other 4 were, but it was 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats, came out overwhelmingly. It's like 70 votes out of 172. When it get to the House, the story now is that very conservative parts of the Republican caucus went to then Speaker Boehner and said, don't bring this to the floor. So we've had that happen over and over again. My opinion is it's being used. We have an immigration problem, whether you're Democrat or Republican. We're not managing it effectively. So what we do when we work well together, we figure out how we manage it, how you manage the border, what you need to be consistent with your legal and legal international agreements, and then figure out what works for Americans. And it's, in my view, and there's a lot of good writing on this, it's been a deliberate thing to drive us apart, particularly directed towards one party, which I used to be a member of.
Bill?
Bill, you're all between me and you did have a nice thing to say to me.
You're first
I'll
up.
make
We
it
still
short.
got a ways to go.
Oh, yeah, do I still have to get something from you? Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah, Sue might
You've
be
got a
longer
busy
than me.
schedule. I've talked too much. I'm going to go.
But I want to thank you for your service and of course, everything that you've done. I really appreciate the PowerPoint presentation that you provided as well and finding ways of how we can collaborate together to help the betterment of our community. What you touched upon was town halls, right? And I was just recently at a town hall for the Mount Diablo Unified School District APAC Town Hall. And I thought it was amazing how Dr. Clark actually talked about, it's an open forum for us to strategize about what things are happening to us today. And we want to hear from you, your fears, your ideas, and things on how we can move forward with the process. And so when you talked about town halls, I think it's really important that we continue to, strive to open those town halls so that we can hear from our community and be able to hear their voice at the same time, come up with ideas and innovation, as you mentioned earlier, in different ways to move forward, because there is a lot of unrest at this point in time, especially around DEI, immigration. My nephew was actually really nervous and asked my cousin, she's like, you're born in Hong Kong. I mean, is everything going to be okay? And children shouldn't have to feel that way or even worry about their parents being deported in any specific way, shape, or form because of everything that's happening now.
Yeah, that's really, it's not good, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I
Now
know.
you're all that's between.
I know. I'll see you Saturday. I'll ask you my questions then.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate
Thank you for the kind words. but
coming.
Thank you mostly just for allowing us to come.
Well, and I have to say, on behalf of the whole community, the amount of town halls you do have is very noticeable. I mean, even compared to, local officials and so on. So it really makes a big difference how much you get out there.
I've
So.
done more town halls than any other member of Congress the last 11 years.
And probably a lot of other.
One of the leaders, when I first started, came up to me on the floor and said, how many town halls have you had? And I told him, I said, don't tell the other members.
Yeah, don't
is
tell
what he
anybody
said.
that. Yeah. So, no,
And
but we
I-
really do appreciate it. It makes a big
I
difference.
was once a resident of Pleasant Hill, as Sue knows. I owned a house on Sunset Road up by Mangini Farm. All right, thank you so
You're
much.
always welcome back.
I can't afford it.
Thank you, Martin. All right, we will move to item 5.2, which is the Commission on Aging Annual Report. And Chair Linda Fisher, is she here? Here. There you are. You're coming up to introduce the item or introduce Commissioner Tran?
Good.
The podium goes up and down too, so you can put
Oh,
the
I'm
podium
good.
down.
Thank you.
You know,
Oh, no, it's fine. Thank you.
hold on 1 second so we get a bunch of people who just come in seated, so it's not too noisy.
Oh, good. Okay.
They come to see you, Linda.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, this is brave.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Thanks.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, I'm Linda Fisher. I am currently the Chair of the Commission on Aging for Pleasant Hill. I am here tonight simply to introduce the star. Commissioner Quy Tran has put this presentation together for our annual report, and he will present it to you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, you can have that go up and down, Mike can go up or down.
Every time I come here, it gets more fancier every single time. This is the, okay. So Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council members, my name is Quy Tran. I'm honored to present to you the Pleasant Hill Commission on Aging 2024 Annual Update. This is a little bit of a bittersweet presentation. This will be my last formal presentation as a commissioner on the Commission on Aging.
I didn't know you were stepping down.
I have served my 8 years, and so I will be stepping down to allow others to
Well,
participate.
thank you. I did not realize that. Thank you.
I'll go to the next slide. Just as a reminder, the Commission's mission is to enhance and improve the aging experience in Pleasant Hill. And the way that we do that is that we prioritize 5 areas of focus: well-being, safety, mobility and transportation, diversity, and housing. The Commission is chaired by Linda Fisher, who you just heard from, with Lorna Van Akkeren as the Vice Chair. Its commissioners include Carol Bateman, Nicole Crenshaw, who is our newest member, Marion Gizzi, Carney Hansen, Vicki Pease, Dana Simmons, and myself, Kui Tran. Every year I update this slide on Pleasant Hill demographics, and there isn't much change to these numbers. About a quarter of Pleasant Hill's population is over the age of 60, with about 4% over the age of 80. AA, NHPI, and Hispanic are the largest and fastest growing ethnic groups, combined at about 33%. The African American population has shrunk a little. It's currently around 3.7%. 2024 was a very busy year for the Commission on Aging. We hosted a number of hybrid workshops and participated in a number of activities. Our 4 workshops, Aging in Place, Understanding Hospice, Understanding Medicare, and Coping with Grief, were all well received. We attended the 4th of July parade and hosted our popular intergenerational ice cream makerspace activity at Tinkers and Thinkers. And we continue our partnership with the Pleasant Hill Police Department with our co-hosted Safety, Security, and Scams Prevention Workshop. We also have representation on the PHPD Community Advisory Committee. This is our intergenerational ice cream makerspace at Tinkers and Thinkers, along with partners here at the city, Rec and Park, Lions Club, Pleasant Hill Community Foundation. This is just a handful of photos from the hundreds that we took at Tinkers and Thinkers. We had 4 stations, making ice cream in a bag, coloring wooden ice cream ornaments, making popsicle stick engineering structures, and handing out frozen Otter Pops. You see the happy kids there. And our impact was huge. Let me just go back. Of the 3,000 attendees at Tinkers and Thinkers, around 2,000 of them passed through our booth. We used up over 30 gallons of milk products, handed out about 1,000 frozen pops, which resulted, of course, in thousands upon thousands of happy smiles. We again repeated last year's successful Adopt a Grandparent activity and encouraged kids to decorate ice cream ornaments and write messages on them. It's a little bit hard to see, but some of the messages are like, "You are loved," and "Stay cool." Happy Days, one of them. So we ended up delivering all of these ornaments to assisted living facilities throughout Pleasant Hill to help combat social isolation. And as has happened in previous years, these have been a huge hit. We also participated in Light Up the Night and did our ornament making activity. This is a fun activity for both young and the young at heart. We decorate ornaments and take it home. We also encourage the kids to make more ornaments so we can give to other seniors, which we also deliver to numerous assisted living facilities around Pleasant Hill. This is just some of our mini workshops. You can see that we've started to standardize the look of these marketing flyers. I presented last year a large community survey we did, and the results of that survey has helped us craft and hone really important topics of interest. We continue to contribute to the Outlook City newsletter, and these are just some of our articles. We become more strategic in our articles, often writing about a topic that will be a prelude to an upcoming workshop. And we've been busy here in council chambers. This is our proclamation for Older American Month from last year. We'll have an updated one for this year coming up in the next couple of months. We also hosted a presentation on the state of housing in Pleasant Hill titled "No Place to Call Home," which some of you may recall. Our commission website has also been revamped to make it easier to find resources and access to video streams of our prior workshops, thereby increasing access to material that we produce. And finally, our senior van service continues to run strong, with 2024 being a record-setting year. We had over 2,000 rides, actually 2,032 rides in 2024, far exceeding any prior year. The service is also serving greater numbers of seniors with disabilities, particularly those using wheelchairs. So what's next for the commission? Well, we're going to continue on our prior success. We're going to host workshops and presentations. Some of the examples are the village presentation, Meals on Wheels, proactive planning on aging, home match, dementia, social connections as we age, hospice, palliative care, and coping with grief. We continue to expand in our participation in a number of community events. We're going to participate in the Age Well Senior Expo, Art, Wine, and Music Festival, Juneteenth, 4th of July Parade, and Community Service Day, as well as Light Up the Night. We'll continue to build out our website, continue to partner with other agencies, and we'll be back here in City Council for another proclamation for Older Americans Month. And that will conclude this presentation for the Commission on Aging. I thank you for the opportunity to provide this update, and now open to any questions or comments.
First, let me thank you, Kui, because I know in the 8 years you've been on there and the rest of the group has really invigorated the Commission on Aging. You guys have added a whole bunch of activities and as well worked really closely with the Senior Center. There's been a really nice synergy there. And I think you guys have brought a whole new life to the Commission on Aging and senior activities in the city. So I want to thank you, especially for a lot of your efforts since you're going to be stepping down, but the entire commission for all that work. It's just been terrific. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to pass on my thank you and congrats. I know the Rec and Park districts need you too. So, but anyway, so thank you. If you could maybe just expound briefly on the home match program, that on the back thing there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, home
No,
match.
home match.
Yeah.
Oop, oop. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, we actually had a presentation of this to the Commission on Aging last week.
Yeah.
Yes, last week. It was actually a really enlightening presentation. It was a prelude actually to a presentation we're going to bring to the City Council as well too. We wanted them to present to us so we can vet some of the material. And it was really, really nicely well done. I won't give completely.
So
I don't know if
it's
you
like
had
a
a
tease.
specific.
It's like a
it was a
tease.
tease.
Okay.
I won't give it. If there's a specific question, I want to steal her thunder because she did a great job presenting the information. But I think it's one of those great ways when we try to address housing needs across the spectrum, especially for older populations in which income is quite limited.
Sure.
To have lots of different options, I think, on the table is really, really important. And home match is just one of those many options. But it can be one of those things that we can incorporate into our strategy. How do we provide more housing? And so we'll definitely bring this back to the council.
Great. Look forward to it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a great
Yeah.
option.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Amanda.
I want to also thank you for your service on the commission. I know a few people have gone to the forums and have found them really helpful. And I love the Light Up the Night. That's a very moving event. I was just wondering about the senior van service. I know that earlier there was some advertisements needing more drivers. Have you been able to fill those? Are you still looking for senior van drivers?
I think we're always looking for senior van drivers is what my understanding is. If you look at, the number of rides just in general, over 2,000 rides, and they don't operate every single day. So did anybody know? I don't think, yeah. Oh, the Monday, Friday now? Okay. We had some limited time during the COVID and everything, but that's a lot of rides. And so we're going to need more and more volunteers to help with that. But it's just one service, right? We have, I presented the demographics, a quarter of our population is above the age of 60. And what we call the multi-morbid population, so those who have disabilities, is growing. So as you age, more and more disabilities are more likely. And so transportation mobility, just getting around the city to get your groceries or whatever it may be, or just getting to the doctor's office is very, very hard to do. So the senior van is one option. It shouldn't be the only option within Pleasant Hill. So hopefully there'll be more options, but if there's more volunteers, then we can, my assumption is that we can expand the services as well too.
Kui, thank you for all of your work as the commissioner on aging. We are sad to see you go. Hopefully you have a successor that will be taking on your role at some point in time.
There was already, right?
Yeah, I got it lined up.
Yeah.
What's next?
That's right. But I wanted to, I did want to touch a base on, again, the van pool thing. Amanda had mentioned that earlier. But my question was, is it only for services for, related to, your doctor's appointments, groceries? What about well-being events like the Tinkers and Thinkers fairs that you have brought up too? Because I think that would also be really helpful if we could get more drivers and opportunities like that as well.
Boy, that's a bigger question. I'm not sure if I have the answer to. I don't think we have enough capacity right now. Is that right? Yeah, you want to answer that one?
So it's not limited to medical appointments. It's for anything, for anyone who lives, any senior who lives in Pleasant Hill, and we just don't have the service on the weekend. So the conflict ends up being that oftentimes an event will take place on a weekend and we wouldn't have a volunteer for that. And then the city also has to be selective about making sure that we're only giving rights to senior events, because then where would we stop?
But it sounds good that you guys are still offering senior events that they can go to throughout the week, right?
Yes, until 4 p.m. So 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. With a break at lunch, and on any Monday through Friday. We do stop at 1 p.m. on Fridays.
Awesome. So it sounds like we just need more drivers.
We need more drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe if I recall correctly, a number of years ago, we were also doing book deliveries from the library for those seniors who were isolating at home as well. And so I think there's opportunity to do different types of services. It's just one service, but if we can expand, I mean, a quarter of 34,000 resident that's in the senior age group, we can certainly use more services.
Yeah. So how does somebody sign up to volunteer for the van pool then?
There's an application on the city's website, the senior van page, and they can also bring one into our office or email the city clerk.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
And I'll bounce it back to the city council as well too, because a lot of it depends on funding from the city as well too.
Yeah, the van was actually purchased with a grant from Transpac. So that was, that was done.
It was just updated just a few years ago.
Yeah, it was
This is
just,
a new van. Yeah.
it's a new van. It's,
Yeah.
it's not that old. And Transpac gave the city the grant to buy the van. So it's
Yeah.
getting the volunteer drivers. That's the
That's
tough part.
key. That is key. Yeah.
Yeah.
Volunteers.
Okay. So
Andre?
I'll be very brief. It's good to see you, Kui.
Good to see you.
I'm always glad to see you come up. You do so much for the community. You wear multiple hats along with being a father and a doctor. So thanks for all you do. And I can't wait to see you at the next event. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Can't wait to see you either.
Thank you very much for the presentation, both of you.
All right. Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
all. Thank you for the opportunity.
And next up, we have the introduction to of our new Commission on Aging member, and I will turn over to Vice Mayor Schuss.
Did you forget for a second there?
No, I was like,
It was like a dramatic pause. I was like,
I sit on too many boards. I'm like, is it vice chair? Is
What
it
is
vice
this?
mayor?
what
Is
does this
it?
mean?
Yeah, I had to figure out your title. Otherwise, I'm just going with first names and
Just call
calling
me
it a
Zach.
day.
I'm good.
Zach.
I'm totally good. So I'd like to invite Nicole Crenshaw to the podium, the newest member of the Commission on Aging. First of all, I want to acknowledge that Councilmember Sakach and I sit on the interviewing and nominating committee and interviewed a lot of really good candidates for the Commission on Aging. And obviously, we approved this. The council approved the committee's recommendation to appoint Nicole at our meeting on the 24th of February, and her term is going to be through through April of 2028. And so Nicole has been a resident of Pleasant Hill for 8 years and is a mother of 17-year-old triplets, which makes you fearless.
Along with our city attorney.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's right. And her medical, her background is kind of also related to medical in terms of planning and leading projects for Fortune 500 companies and diagnostic firms. She has all kinds of expertise in biz dev and product management, sales and strategic accounts. And this has a lot of contacts in the healthcare networks, biotech, all that good stuff. So look forward to her bringing this perspective to the Commission on Aging, which we know is a pretty strong roster of talented people, right? And so with that, I just wanted to just express my thanks. We obviously think that you're going to be a great fit, and if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself more than I already have and introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Well, thank you so much. You did a great job, Vice Mayor. So it's so nice to meet all of you, and thank you so much. I'm very excited and honored to join this commission as a commissioner. So again, thank you for the warm welcome. I won't take much time. You did a great job introducing me, so not much more to say, but I'm looking forward to this this assignment and just so excited and humbled. So.
You'll have to
Thank
do
you.
the presentation next year since Kui won't be here, so.
Right. But it's so very nice to meet all of you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nicole.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Item 5.4 is the Measure K Oversight Committee Annual Report Fiscal Year 2023-24, and Chair Paul Maxwell. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the commission. I'm not wearing any shamrock, but I have a green
Very
folder,
good.
so that would.
I
serve.
failed on the green, so it's okay.
My name is Paul Maxwell, and I'm currently the chair of the Measure K Advisory Committee. And with me tonight, I think Debbie Baker is here, and I think Debbie, the only member here tonight. Our annual report is in your packet. It's a requirement under Measure K that the Citizens Advisory Committee every year produces a report on the expenditures from the prior fiscal year to make sure they're spent effectively and efficiently. Those are the key words in the Measure K ordinance. I'm not going to read the report. I'm just going to highlight the key points in there. The committee met in November of 2024 and we received a detailed report from your staff, from the Public Works Director and from the Chief Financial Officer of the expenditures that were made. They were unaudited at that point. At that meeting, we appointed a subcommittee. Debbie was one of the members, and the subcommittee met with the staff in January and December and January of last year and this year. And they were able to review in detail several transactions that were made with Measure K funds, the receipts and what the funds were expended on. They reviewed 16 transactions, which totaled about 50% of all the Measure K expenditures in fiscal 23-24. Subsequently, the full committee met in March, and we accepted that report from the subcommittee. We had a presentation from the city's auditors, from Macias, Genie, and O'Donnell, MGO. They presented the formal Measure K audit to us. We were able to ask questions of them. We also, I had drafted a draft report for this committee. The committee reviewed that report at that meeting and adopted it. And so it's in your packet today. I just want to highlight one of the, on page 2 of my report, I think, let me see, page 2. I'm sorry, bear with me one moment. In your packet, actually, yeah, page 2, we summarized the revenues and expenditures of Measure K.
It's all right. It's over.
Okay, continue. All right.
Everybody's fine.
The Measure K program is maturing. As you know, the library is finished. Approximately half of the funds we receive go to retire the debt on the library. And so the balance of the funds are being used in accordance with the measure for streets and roads. Last year, a little over $2.5 million. Storm drains, about $500,000. And pedestrian and bicycle projects, about $400,000. And that's laid out on page 2 here. And so with that, the committee feels that based on the 2 meetings we had with city staff and the detailed review that the subcommittee did, and also a discussion with the Public Works Director about how she goes about soliciting proposals and contracts and how those are selected by staff and how they come to this council. The committee felt that for fiscal year 23-24, we had in fact complied with the intent of the measure, and in accordance with the ordinance, we found that the funds were expended efficiently and effectively. So that in summary, that's my report. It's similar to the one I made to you last year, but we did want to thank the staff who've been very helpful in opening up the books to us, meeting with us, and explain to us non-professional accountant types how the funds are expended. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to respond, or Debbie is here, she could help as well.
Well, I just want to thank the Measure K Oversight Committee. Back in 2016, when I was mayor the first time, was when we passed that measure. And it was really important to us for the public to be confident that the money was going to be spent the way we told them it was going to be spent. So it was really important for us to have this oversight committee and to get these reports annually so that the public does know that we've spent the funds exactly how we intended them to be. So really appreciate all your work. Is there any questions? Yep, Amanda?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you and for everybody who serves on the committee for your hard work. My question is, we've been trying to fill the slot on the oversight committee that is for, I think the requirements are the chamber member and a Pleasant Hill business owner. And I'm just curious if you know why that was set up that way, and if you could maybe give a sales pitch for why people should serve on this committee, what you like about it, why you think it's important.
Well, it's important, I think, because the makeup of the committee is there's someone who represents the Friends of the Library. There's someone who was on the Traffic Safety Committee, which is yours truly. That's my position. There's someone who was supposed to represent the business community, and we did have a person for part of the year, and she worked for she wasn't a resident, but she worked in the city for a financial institution, and then she was moved to a different location. And we have a spot for a financial professional, which is John Pollock at the moment. So I think it's important for the business community because we are, we're collecting sales taxes that the business community and we as citizens are paying. So I think it's important for them to be part of this process and to recognize and certify that the funds are being spent appropriately. It's frankly, it's not a huge commitment. We meet twice a year as a full committee. The subcommittee meets more often, and it's a cyclical process. But I just think it's really important that the entire community, from citizens who are paying sales tax and businesses, are assured that the funds are being collected properly and spent properly.
The makeup of the committee was set up at the time of Measure K, who was to be part of that. That was set up way back in 2016. So that was the categories. We wanted to make it broad and diverse so that we had all sorts of input.
Right.
Yeah. Other questions, Andre?
I thank you for everything that you're doing. And just to elaborate, Amanda, the chamber is actively looking for someone as a chamber liaison for the council. I have talked to them, but he is right. It's only a couple times a year that they meet. The person who was in there had to move. They vacated, and they're actually looking for someone. And there are, I believe, a few applicants that have moved forward. But again, thank you for all that you guys do of watching over this and making sure that all the funds are going where they need to go. It's really an impactful measure for Pleasant Hill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Paul.
thank you
Appreciate
very
that.
much. Okay.
Thank you. All right, we'll now move on to item 6, city manager comments, and I invite our city manager, Ethan Bendernagel, for any comments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, council and members of the public. A few short announcements for you. If you've ever wondered what the process is for getting an ordinance passed at City Hall, or how the city puts together large capital improvement projects like the Pleasant Hill Library, or if you'd simply like to learn more about how the Pleasant Hill city government works, you can sign up now for our local government academy. The LGA is a 6-week program. It's ideally suited for residents and business owners who want to learn more about and be active in their community. These sessions will run on Thursday nights, May 29th through July 3rd from 6 to 8:30 p.m. once a week. And participants will be invited to the Monday, July 7th council meeting, where they'll receive some recognition and certificates of completion. Signups are limited to our first 20 participants. Don't miss your opportunity, so be sure to sign up by Friday, May 23rd. You could do so online at www.phillca.gov/LGA, as in Local Government Academy. The city is currently, or has begun its drafting of its first ever climate action plan. It happened earlier this year. We had a couple of events, and I know that council members Law and Sakach were there. The CAP will be a roadmap for outlining targets, timelines, and strategies for reducing GHG emissions while simultaneously promoting sustainable development, resilience, and equity throughout the community. Residents are encouraged to visit the city's webpage dedicated to the CAP at www.phillca.gov/CAP2025 And there you'll find a list of actions you can take to make a difference here in the community. And you'll find a link to sign up for future updates, as well as another link to participate in a survey that will help shape the CAP. Continuing with the green theme here, staff is happy to announce that preparations are underway for a variety of city and community partner activities in April as part of Earth Week, April 21st through the 27th. There will be a council proclamation planned for Monday, April 21st, announcing the start of Earth Day and Earth Week here in Pleasant Hill, followed by an Earth Day celebration on Thursday, the 24th. There's then a Tinkers and Thinkers launch party, Saturday, the 26th at Pleasant Hill Park, and we will be concluding on Sunday, the 27th, with the Pleasant Hill Instructional Gardens Earth Day celebration at 1 Santa Barbara Road. And finally, I'll close out with something to look forward to again next month. Starting next month in April, Off the Grid will be returning to Pleasant Hill, but on a new night. So starting on Thursday nights in April through October, OTG's assortment of food trucks will roll on to Trelane Road again and offer up their usual assortment of tasty cuisines at a fantastic family-friendly event. And I know many of us have participated and attended in the past. Music is provided. Families are encouraged to bring blankets and chairs and to make an evening of it. We look forward to seeing everyone out on the lawn next month. That concludes my announcements. Happy to yield any questions.
Any questions? Nope. Okay. We will move on to item 7, council announcements and reports. Reports from council members on meetings or conferences attended at city expense. The Contra Costa Mayor's Conference was hosted by the City of Lafayette on March 6th. And our presentation was the Emergency Bay Regional Communications Authority, which handles sort of the, I guess, lower tech system in a large emergency, how people can, especially the police departments, can communicate with each other in disaster. Cities can communicate with each other to address any emergencies. So they discussed quite a bit of upgrades that were going forward. And let's see who all was there with me. Zach, oh, that's right. You three were at a planning commission meeting. So it's, yeah, okay. So anyway, so it was Vice Mayor Shess and I were at that event. Reports from commissioners on meetings at city expense. Sure. Commissioner Law?
I attended the League of California Cities Planning Commissioners Academy that Sue Mayor Nowak just mentioned. Topics discussed at the sessions were around California housing law, California Environmental Quality Act, also known as CEQA, and legislative updates. And one of the key takeaways for me was really around how careful planning around mixed use and ADUs can actually be an area of opportunity for our city to provide housing that is affordable for our community, because it will promote sustainability by encouraging walking. We help reduce car dependency, create jobs, support local businesses, and even enhance our community connection. So that was a great academy that I went to. And I think that anyone who is on city council or even in the planning commission should definitely go to that academy.
Okay, Andre?
It was a great time, wasn't it? I walked away with a bunch of acronyms, so I get to learn all these and memorize them. But seriously, there's a lot of complications when it comes to housing and it comes to planning. And I really think it was smart on behalf of the city to have us go to really learn all about the different rules and laws, how it goes to housing. And at the end of the day, the state is just trying to make sure that we're building enough housing to support our residents, our workforce. So it was a great way to see how the recipe and how the cake is made, and not just the end of the project. So it was a great time. Thanks.
Amanda, any comments, additional comments?
I don't have much to add. I was
Okay.
also at the Commissioners Academy. I learned about a lot of housing regulations and CEQA.
All right. Very important. All right. Let's see. No, 7.2 announcements from council members. I'll start with Amanda.
I attended a Coalition on Jobs event in which many of our elected leaders around California talked about infrastructure needs and keeping local middle-class jobs in the building trades. I also attended the Rotary Club's annual St. Patrick's Day dinner, where I think everyone up here was on Saturday.
Okay. Vice Mayor Schatz.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to the 2 events that were mentioned, I attended the East Bay Leadership Council and had California Attorney General Rob Bonta at the Pleasant Hill Community Center, and he spoke on myriad issues. As you can imagine, whether from federal overreach to retail crime, hate crime, all kinds of topics. It was really interesting to hear him speak, and it was great to have him in our city.
We are on 7.2.
Oh,
Did you
we're-
have something else on 7.1? Did you have something else at city expense?
No, just 7.2.
7.2?
I had something fun to talk about on 7.2 as an announcement.
We're on 7.2.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about 7.2. I brought my scarf here from St. Mary's. I'm going to put on real quickly. And as an alumni of St. Mary's, and not just, it also is a school that's here locally in the East Bay, that a lot of citizens in Pleasant Hill either work for, have gone to school for, or their kids go to school for. They actually are in the tournament from Selection Sunday. They'll be playing Vanderbilt on Friday, March 21st at 12:15. And they are the only school in Northern California to go to the tournament. So go Gales. And by the way, Gales, it's a Irish warrior. So it goes kind of along with St. Patrick's Day as well. So there you go.
That's it?
That's it. Have a little fun.
Okay. Councilmember Lott?
Another fun and exciting announcement, but nothing that I'm going to put a scarf on for. So the city of Pleasant Hill is set to launch its first ever night market in District 1 on Friday, May 2nd. It's actually a local operator that decided to throw this event. And this inaugural event will also honor Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which celebrates both culture and community. And I remember almost a year ago, I hosted the first AANHPI Heritage event at the Winslow Center, by the way, as a resident. And during an interview with Claudine Wong from KTVU, she had mentioned to me, she said, is this going to be an ongoing event? And I said, I hope the city would adopt something like this. And so the community is listening. You know, someone out there, you guys are civically engaged, right? You guys are here. You understand what the community needs, had decided to throw this event. And so now it's going to happen on the first and third Friday, starting from May 2nd, all the way to November. And it's fast forward to 2025 at Chilpan Cinco Park. So I hope to see you all there.
I will be there because my kids are performing.
Oh,
The first
nice.
day, yeah.
See, even amazing. And another community engagement.
Another scarf, no.
Yes.
Sorry. So in addition to, let's see, I'll just start at the beginning. So I was on a panel for the League of Women Voters for the Bay Area to talk on transportation issues. We had a Zoom call with like 100 participants, which I was shocked to see, but it was a great turnout. So that was interesting. There was a network of care crowd feed. A network of care provides food to those families that are in hospital with people that are injured, providing them sustenance while they're waiting by the bedsides of their family members. Attended the California Alliance for Jobs Forum for Transportation Transformation in the Bay Area. It's going to be my theme for the year, honestly. And then the St. Pat's Rotary event, which we were all at this past Saturday night, which was lots of fun. So I think that's it for announcements. We'll now move on to public comment. The public is welcome at this time to address the city council on items on the consent calendar or other items not listed on the agenda, but within the council's jurisdiction. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. You may provide comments by giving a speaker card to Leon at the dais. Before we take live comments, I'd like to report the city council did receive written correspondence from Jack Prozic. Madam Clerk, do we have any cards?
I have no speaker cards.
No speaker cards. None of you guys out there want to speak? No. Okay. I will close public comment and move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered by the council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate council discussion of these items unless requested by a council member prior to the time council votes on the motion to adopt. May I have a motion to adopt the consent calendar?
I'd like to pull item number 9.4.
9.4, okay. Do I have a motion for the items 9.1, 2, and 3?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on items 9.1 through 9.3. May we have the roll call vote, please?
Law,
Yes.
Obolensky.
Yes.
Chess.
Yes.
Sakach,
Yes.
Noack,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, item 9.4, go ahead, Councilmember Law.
Yes, so on item number 9.4, Exhibit A provides on page 7 the proposed annual progress report. I understand the report is something that we provide to the state, and it's a canned report that we provide. One of my questions there was, looking at the numbers there, it provides that we have met at least 16% of our housing goals, and we'll continue to strive to meet those goals, right? But the numbers that we have listed in there doesn't really identify clearly to the public the transparency of whether or not we're receiving those credits. So I'm hoping that staff could maybe provide maybe like a pie chart or something that's different so that we can visually see those increases as the city is making this progress.
I'm not sure I'm understanding the pie chart versus number chart. You're asking for
For
that on a
something
regular basis or what?
on a regular basis as we provide this report so that the public can understand it, since we did also receive a public comment on not understanding what the numbers are. I think
Okay.
it would be more easier for the public to digest and it would be more transparent if we had either a pie chart or adding a percent of, and it would also be helpful for us to see where we are in reaching our RHNA goals, right? So we are making progress. It's showing that we're hitting 16% already of the 100% that we need to meet. So
Okay.
on
What
page,
table was that again?
page 8,
I think you're,
Exhibit A.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So, sorry, we
No,
don't
go
have a
ahead.
copy for the public to see, which I wish we could have pulled that up here.
yeah, so it's on table 2, our updated, where our numbers are. That's what we've done so far is table
Right.
2.
Yeah, so if you take a look at page 7, and I do want to highlight that staff has been working really hard, especially putting together this report as well and making sure that we meet our arena goals. So we do want to highlight that as well, right? So if you look at the annual element progress report in that table, our total RHNA goal is 1803.
Yep.
As of date, we've met 288. If you take the percentage of that, that's about 16%.
Mhm.
And so I think it would be helpful if we provided additional information for the public so that it's transparent and see where we are on a year-to-year basis, because this is an annual report that we provide.
Okay, so next year you just want to see the increase from year to year? I'm not,
The increase from year to year for the public, yes, and for council to understand it.
okay, because this report goes to the state, so
Right,
it would be
yeah.
a
It would
separate.
just be a separate
Yeah.
staff report.
So
addition.
I want to make it clear for the public, we don't build.
Right.
So we just zone. So we have really minimal control over whether any of the housing gets built.
Yep.
We can zone for it, we can design and everything for it, but we don't build. And so it's, when we say we're trying to meet those goals, there's very limited things we can do to encourage that. We don't have funds to subsidize housing and things like that. So I just want to make it that clear to the public that this is not us trying to build homes. We're not doing that. We're
Yes,
just zoning for it.
yeah,
So I
it-
just want to make that clear.
Yeah, thank you for making
Yeah.
that clear, Sue. It was really about the report for more transparency and being able for the public to digest it. If you take a look at this report, there's a lot of information in there, and I really appreciate staff for putting this together because it goes to state. It's a canned report that's expected from the state itself as well. But, we are making progress. We don't build things, but we do also have the new PRADU, the pre-approved ADU, that also outlines all of the designs. So I want to thank Troy for that as well. I think that's really helpful for the community to be able to reach out and be able to create an ADU or JDU based on the specs that were already provided and make it easier for the community.
Okay. All right, we will work with planning on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, any other questions on 9.4? Do we have a motion to approve 9.4?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can I have the roll call vote, please?
Law,
Yes.
Obolensky,
Yes.
Chess,
Yes.
Sakach,
Yes.
Noack,
Yes,
motion carries.
great. Okay, we'll now move on to the action calendar, which is number 10, action calendar. 10.1 is adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and submit the biannual Measure J Growth Management Program compliance checklist for calendar years 22, 23 for allocation of fiscal years 23, 24 and 24, 25 local street maintenance and improvement funds to the Contra Costa Transportation Authority.
I'm glad
And
you
there
said
you
that.
are.
Well, it was so long.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
gut
maybe
was-
you can explain. These are annual return to source funds that we get from Measure J CCTA measure that was done,
It was in 2004. We started getting the funds
2004.
in 2009.
expires in 2034. So we get an annual allocation, but we have to complete this checklist in order
Biannually.
for us to get biannually to get our funds.
Yes. So we missed a huge opportunity because Paul Maxwell was one of the original authors of Measure J, and he snuck out the door right
Oh,
before.
too bad.
So if you have any in-depth questions, the source
We
just
could have asked
left.
Paul, yeah.
We had the
The source
godfather of
just-
Measure J here and we didn't know it?
Yes.
Holy
Yes.
cow.
I may or may not have asked him a question right before the meeting. Anyways,
Well,
thank
next time
you.
we'll invite him back.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Thank you, Mayor Noack and council members. Just a quick overview of Measure J. As the mayor just stated, we do receive Measure J funds every year, and part of receiving those funds is a biennial checklist that the mayor will sign and execute tonight, hopefully, and then we take it to CCTA to continue the funds. So as you can see from the picture, we use Measure J funds for a whole bunch of different things, mostly sidewalk, streets, a little bit of bike and ped. Last year, the biggest thing we used Measure J funds for was the new signal at Taylor Civic. So Measure J, as the mayor said, is a return to source funds. They're transportation improvements and maintenance funds that come to the city annually from the countywide Measure J. It's a half-cent countywide transportation sales tax, and it was approved in 2004. I don't think we actually started getting the funds, though, until about 2009. To qualify for Measure J funds, the city must continue to maintain street and road expenditures at levels that were reported in the state controller's report of financial I'm not going to read all that. Do you remember when we talk about the street resurfacing fund every year in the CIP, and I always say street resurfacing always has to get $1 million? This is why. That was our MOE, the maintenance of effort that we declared when Measure J went into effect, $1,019,000. So every year, that's what we always ask for, to show CCTA that we are meeting our measure of effort. So if we don't meet it, then our funds get decreased from Measure J. That's the downside. So fortunately, with Measure K, that counts as a local fund, and we've been successful in meeting that MOE every year. So the growth management plan checklist, it happens every other year. So this is the year we bring it forward. Like I said, you have the checklist in your packet. It was completed by engineering staff, and I want to thank them all for their hard work on that. After the mayor signs it next, you guys execute it, then we take it next month in April to CCTA. This is what I asked Paul. I said, implementation of action plans. So that is just making sure that our roadways of significance are kept up to date and regional significance. So that's bike and ped, it's street resurfacing and other things to make sure that all of those roadways are in compliance. New and continued development mitigation programs, housing options, traffic impact studies, multi-jurisdictional planning. We have to have an approved 5-year capital improvement program. So fortunately, we do all of these things, and we actually work with planning on a lot of the things that happen on this list. And then some of the projects that we have slated in the upcoming CIP is our street striping maintenance program, the sidewalk maintenance gap closure program, a small installation project. There's some funds in the City Hall Pond and Fountain project because we will be redoing the walkways and the ADA on that project. And then also the climate action plan is included in our Measure J funds for the next 2 years. So those are some upcoming projects that we'll use those funds for. And so really, that's just a quick overview. Tonight, what we're asking is that you are able to execute the Measure J checklist so that we can move on to CCTA to keep the funds coming.
Any questions? No? I'll get to sign it here, sign it at CCTA.
And I appreciate that. I'll keep it briefer next
Yeah,
month.
yeah. I don't even think we do I don't even think you do a presentation at
You don't.
CCTA.
I just want to make a comment is I are very thankful for all the work the staff went. When you said checklist, I think people had the idea that you check boxes, but it's actually quite a lot of attachments and data. And
It's a
everything.
very comprehensive document, so
Yes,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Okay, with that, I need a motion to approve.
Mayor Noah,
Oh, sorry, public comment.
there's no public comment cards.
Is there any public comment? No, there's no public comment. Okay. Now I'll need a motion to approve.
So moved.
And is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. You have the roll call vote, please?
Law,
Yes.
Obolensky,
Yes.
Shess,
Yes.
Sakach,
Yes.
Noack,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.
Okay, item 10.2, to adopt a resolution approving the Pleasantville Rec and Park District event sponsorship proposal for calendar year 2025. And you come up here as quickly as our staff do, Jen Thoits. Jen Thoits from Marketing Communications and Event Manager, and Liz Harrison, Special Events Coordinator.
Thank you. Save my introduction. Thank you, Mayor Noack and City Council members for the opportunity to talk about our 2025 sponsorship package. Again, my name is Jennifer Thoits. I'm the Marketing, Communications, and Events Manager. And my colleague here is Liz Harrison, who is our Special Events Coordinator. In the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, I just want to say that I am very lucky to live here in Pleasant Hill. And I'm lucky to be somebody who gets to contribute to that. And I feel very fortunate that I get to work with partners like the City of Pleasant Hill to bring special events to our residents, because there is something really special about special events. I think we can all agree on that. It's really, it's really an opportunity to unite people, bring them together. You get to see your neighbors, your friends, your families come to the events, you meet new people. It's a networking opportunity. So it really strengthens the community, builds partnerships between different business members through sponsorships such as this, through volunteer opportunities. And it really creates and fosters a sense of belonging. So we can all agree, again, the special events are very important. More specifically for the City of Pleasant Hill, the district events are high quality events. They attract many people from surrounding areas outside of the community. For example, for Blues and Brews, these are some statistics showing that we're not just creating events for people in our community, which is very important to us, but we're also creating opportunities for others in surrounding areas to share that sense of belonging and that community connection. And that benefits the city from an economic standpoint, because when these people come to town, guess what? They're pouring money into the community. They're staying in the hotels. They're going to restaurants. They're doing shopping. So it does have an economic impact when we bring those people in. Oops, I'm going too fast here. Oh, going the wrong way. I think that earthquake shook me up a little bit. Oh my gosh.
Makes the slide a little rough.
It shook my slides up. Yeah. And more, again, for the City of Pleasant Hill, it's also a really cost-effective way to maximize your visibility and your outreach efforts by minimizing your city staff time and your expenses. So we do all the work for you, and we promote that you're involved with these high-quality events. And overall, that we enhance Pleasant Hill's reputation as a vibrant place to live, to work, and to play. And again, this is showcasing that. We want to thank you for your longstanding partnership. Pleasant Hill and City of Pleasant Hill have been working together since the beginning. And through sponsorships, you've been an annual sponsorship since 2022. You sponsored events before that, but it was on a individual sponsorship basis. The district in turn sponsors city events, including Juneteenth, the concerts at the lake, and of course, the 4th of July Commission. So we really work together again to create that great feeling of living here in Pleasant Hill for residents and for non-residents as well. So let's take a look at the sponsorships that you did sponsor this year, and I'll just go through them very quickly. I mainly wanted to give you visual representation of some of these events if you were unable to attend them yourself. So the first half of the year, the calendar year, you sponsored the family PJ dance party. If you've never been to that, it's a smaller event for families where they come and just get to spend quality time together. They get to wear their PJs, they have a dance, there's lots of fun treats. And it's just a great little event for families to participate in. The underwater egg hunt is hosted by our aquatics department. And that's for all the little fishes out there who like to jump in the pool, even in the cool weather. They get to hunt for Easter eggs in the heated pool, that is. That one's coming up soon. And then we, of course, have our exciting egg hunt. If you've never been, it's the biggest egg hunt you've ever seen. It's massive. Aloha Family Luau was in May, and that was inspired an AAPI-inspired event where we had professional hula dancers come in and teach the kids how to hula dance, very engaging. We played games. Of course, they had yummy treats. And again, just a great little opportunity, a night out to spend with your family other than playing video games or something like that. We wrapped up the first half of the year with Sunset Cinema, movie in the park. We tried to target more adult audience with that. We hosted a Barbie movie. And we had actually more adults come. Usually it's small families, but they dressed up in their Barbie gears. And you can see here we had one of our staff members created this giant toy box, a Barbie box, where people could go inside and take pictures. And people had a great time doing that. The second half of the year is kicked off with Blues and Brews, of course. You sponsored the Kids Zone, was one of the opportunities there. You can see some of the highlights. We had bubble machines or bubble blowing opportunities, a big giant slide. Sunset Cinema, we had our second one in August, and that was animated feature Elemental. Again, brought in the families. Tinkers and Thinkers in September. If you've never been, hands-on activities related to science, technology, engineering, art, and math. That is co-hosted with the Pleasant Hill Library. Wonderful partnership there. We love working with them every year. Haunted Trail, that's a massive trick-or-treating event. It was really fun to see the City of Pleasant Hill Police Department out there handing out candy. That was great. And the Civic Action Commission was out there. They had a display as well. And somebody else I know here on the council was there. He's been wonderful, supportive. It's great to see council members out there, of course, and we see them often. So it's great to have you participate. And last is Tinkers and Thinkers, or Tinkers and Cookies with Santa. This is kind of a slide to show as our annual sponsor, we want to make sure that you're celebrated and recognized throughout the year in our events. And we do that in a variety of ways through different marketing channels, whether that's social media on our Facebook and Instagram. We make sure that we include you, we tag you, so it's going to your feed as well. And we do that with pre-event marketing during, if we're doing that, live feeds, and then certainly after, thanking you for your sponsorship. Any signage we can, we'll make sure to have you on our signage. And as an annual sponsor, we also feature you in our Spotlight Recreation Guide, which is produced 3 times a year, and it is distributed to everybody within the district boundaries, and there's 68,000 copies per issue. So you're being recognized in that publication as well. Before I turn it over to Liz to talk about 2025 sponsorships, I just wanted to update you on some changes within the special event specifically department. We kind of realigned our focus a little bit to be more in line with Play for All and our DEIB strategic initiatives. So going forward, Liz and our staff in special events, as it's under the marketing umbrella, our primary focus is going to be on community outreach. And all our events are going to be what we call signature events. So you'll hear us use that terminology. And all our signature events are free events. So anything that had registration before, it's gone away. We want to remove that barrier. So anybody who wants to come play with us, they can come play. And there's no barrier to be able to do that. Our events that we'll focus on are going to be the large community events. They tend to be 500 people or more. They are a broader target audience. We want to reach out to different community groups and perhaps do co-sponsored type events with them to be able to reach a broader base as part of that initiative. And again, all those events will be hosted specifically by special events. The other events, the smaller events like Aloha Family Luau, Breakfast with Santa, all those fun, really cute family quality events, they're not going away. We are just not going to host them. Those are going to go back to our departments, specifically for youth. That's the only real change. So the youth departments right now, you won't see a lot of them on kind of the sponsorship proposals, and Liz will explain that, because we just made this change and they're reevaluating, trying to decide, are we going to do this event? Do we want to do something else? They're the experts. So it's just a minor change and kind of a terminology change, just so when you hear us talk about a specialty event, that's going to be our smaller events. It's part of recreation programming. Some will have registration fees to kind of support the costs of doing that. Some are free. Like our youth department provides pop-up play dates in the park 9 times out of the year, and they're free. So that's an opportunity for young families to just get together and play in the park. The event size are usually under 500 people. And again, they're very targeted to specific interests. So senior centers host seniors event, youth services host youth service events for youth and teens. Aquatics, they host the et cetera. So just a minor change on where we're going to focus. But I just want to clarify that because she's going to be using some of the terminology for that. Oops, I keep going backwards. There you go. All right.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present our annual sponsorship proposal. This year, we are requesting sponsorship for the following events, and I know Jen went through some of these, but I will go back through them again using our new terminology. So we have the Underwater Egg Hunt, which is a specialty recreation event through our aquatics department featuring an egg hunt in our pool. Eggstravaganza, a new name on the classic event. This year, the egg hunt in our park will be completely free with no registration required. Tinkers and Thinkers Launch Party. This is our annual collaborative event with the Pleasant Hill Library, focusing on STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, which has been moved from September to April, which allows us to collaborate with the city for Earth Week. Bark in the Park is a new signature event that I'll highlight in the next slide. But Blues and Brews is our summer classic. Blues and Brews, a 2-day craft beer and live music festival. Multicultural Festival, which is another new signature event, and I'll talk about that in the next slide as well. Pumpkin Splash, another specialty recreation event hosted by our aquatics department, which is a floating pumpkin patch where families get to pick out a pumpkin in the pool. It's cute. Haunted Trail, again, free trick-or-treating event in the park where local businesses participate, hosting a decorated themed booth and lots of candy. And then Breakfast with Santa, which is a specialty recreation event hosted by our youth services department featuring pancakes and Santa. So we're excited to introduce our two new signature events, Bark in the Park on May 10th and the Multicultural Festival on September 13th. Bark in the Park is a community-focused event celebrating pet lovers and their furry companions. With local adoption and rescue agencies, pet vendors, and fun contests, this event fosters engagement among pet owners and animal enthusiasts. And then we have our Multicultural Festival celebrating our city's diversity. It will showcase performances, cuisine, art, vendors from various cultures, creating an inclusive and welcoming space for all of our residents. This is also an opportunity for us to work together. We're hoping to collaborate with the Diversity Commission to bring this event to the community. To continue to provide these high-quality events, we are seeking a total sponsorship investment of $14,850 for the 2025 calendar year, split into the two fiscal years. This current fiscal year, we're asking for $5,200 to support the spring and I guess early summer through Bark in the Park events, and then through July, December, $9,650 for the remainder of the calendar year. Because of the scale and reach of our new events, like Bark in the Park and the Multicultural Festival, the sponsorship request did increase. Unlike the smaller niche specialty events, the festivals attract a larger audience and have more logistics involved. So that is the reason for that request. So we just want to thank you for your support. It continues to allow us to offer these events to the public and enriches our community and fosters civic pride. We appreciate your time and consideration, and we look forward to partnering so often.
Barking and barking.
Yeah, barking, all the things. To partnering to make these events a continued success. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Yep, Amanda?
Yeah, I was just curious why you discontinued some of your events and are introducing the two new ones.
So the events haven't necessarily been discontinued. We're putting them on pause while our internal departments evaluate and figure out what the community needs are.
Vice Mayor Schuss?
Hi, does that apply to the holiday festival? I didn't see the holiday festival up there. Is that the one when she talked about pausing? Is that one of the ones?
No, we typically don't ask for sponsorship from the city for the winter holiday festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's still going on?
It is still going on.
Okay.
Yes.
We have in the past, I think.
It's just not part of the package that the sponsorship.
They're not asking for the money on that.
No, maybe I'm thinking Rotary?
Through Rotary.
Oh, I must be thinking Rotary. I'm sorry, I'm confusing my organizations. No, that's okay. Sorry. I'm mixing up meetings. I gotta get these things just squared away in my head. Any questions? Yeah.
So my family and I really enjoy all of the events. We also volunteer at a bunch of them, as well as our neighbors and residents. And I think sponsorship for Rec and Park events aligns with our general plan for recreational programs for all. And this collaboration will not only just help our community feel a sense of belonging, but also achieve our general plan goals as well. And so I am looking forward to the new event of Bark in the Park and the multicultural. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys have come up with the signature, which allows free opportunities for those who may not be able to afford these events. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
Why wasn't I in that Barbie box up there in that picture?
Probably were. They didn't want to put you in it.
No. No, you guys always, the Rec and Park District always puts on great events. I was at many of them and I will continue to be at many of them. So I'm in complete support of what you guys do in the community. And I'm looking forward to the signature events. I'm sure that my children and my wife will as well. And the multicultural will see if we can get a performance in for you.
And I just appreciate last year, I think it was last year, the year before, I asked to make sure that we all got invited to all the events. And I appreciate you guys doing that because I was losing track of calendar as usual. And so I was very appreciative of getting those invites. So thank you. And hopefully we can continue getting those so we don't forget. Okay, do we have any public comments?
There are no public comment cards.
Lionel was looking at me like, don't forget, don't forget. Okay,
Can I
thank
just
you
one-
very much.
Just one
and
quick
yes,
statement.
Yep.
My dog's the cutest.
Your dog's the cutest?
Yeah, I'd bark in the park. I'm gonna bring
I'm
my
just wondering
dog.
who's cleaning up afterward.
Well, there is a
Cutest dog.
contest that you can enter.
Yeah, we can all, all the other things are lovely, but I just want to state for the record, my dog's the cutest.
Okay,
it, Mayor.
thank you. Now, do you want to make that motion then?
Yes, I will make that motion.
Okay.
My dog is the cutest. I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution approving the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District event sponsorship proposal for calendar year 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. May I have the roll call vote, please?
Law,
Yes.
Obolensky,
Yes.
Chess,
Yes.
Sakach,
Yes.
Noack,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you both. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're on to item 11 is adjournment, but before we adjourn, I want to take this moment to honor the memory of Ted Winslow. Ted Winslow passed away Friday, February 28th. Ted was leading voice for the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District for decades. Some of his accomplishments include leading the fundraising efforts, which resulted in the establishment of Pleasant Hill's first community park in 1951. The park is now known as Pleasant Hill Park. Served as general manager of the Recreation and Park District from 1965 to 1987, during which time he grew the district from a 4.5 acre park to over 275 acres, which included 12 parks. Created partnerships with schools and government agencies, which led to the creation of such facilities as the Pleasant Hill Community Center, Senior Center, and the Public Services Center. Strongly involved in local schools, serving as the first president of the Gregory Gardens Parent Club. He was a proud U.S. Air Force veteran who served as a B-17 aerial gunner in World War II. He received numerous honors throughout his life, including the 1989 Citizen of the Year Award, 2003 Pleasant Hill Community Service Award, and 2009 Cornerstone Award. In 1991, the Recreation and Park District honored Ted by dedicating the Winslow Center in his name. So we adjourn in Ted's honor this evening. Thank you and good night.